What's going on in the world of real estate? Well, lots is happening. I've been actually, there's lots happening. There's really not much. Typically, so it's April 2026. And one of the things I've noticed is there has been an uptick in homes getting sold as opposed to, especially closer to the city. Maybe outskirts are still having a hard time. However, if you're closer, even in the outer line 905 areas, homes are selling pretty fast. Not fast, sorry. They're selling. They're starting to sell. You're starting to see activity. I'm starting to see activity on condos that have been sitting on the market for a while. And I've noticed those ones too have started to pick up and people are coming out. What I'm also noticing, first-time home buyers are now up and ready. They have been waiting and they were hoping that the bottom falls out. But I've started to see them come out and start to look at probably getting some good deals. The prices haven't gone up, but they are still holding strong. But there are deals to be had. So this is what I'm seeing. There's so many condos out there, so there's so much choice. And choice can be good or bad, because sometimes choice can be a little unforgiving. Because you've seen so many, you're losing out on a really good option because you think, hey, I'll just hang out and I'll see some more. And probably a condo that actually fitted your family or your life, you decided that to wait on it and someone else scooped it up. The other thing too is, I'm seeing the first-time home buyers come out. I'm seeing a lot more foreclosures and power of sales, mostly power of sales come on the market. And so those are a little tricky, and people think because you have a power of sale attached to it, you're going to get a good deal. Those are a little tricky, and you have to be aware of the details on a power of sale. But most importantly, this is what I want to warn people about. So if you're in a situation where you cannot afford your house, perhaps one of you've got laid off, or not even that, perhaps you just can't afford it anymore. Perhaps you bought the house when it was, $1,100,000, $1,200,000, or maybe you even bought it at $800,000. Who cares? You bought it at a higher price, and then you were okay until the rate started to go up. So perhaps you were paying 1% and 1.4, something like that. And now the price of homes are no longer, like the interest rate is no longer 1.4. So you're finding it really hard. What I want to advise you about is just be careful of those people that are promising you the world. In, like, I'm not saying private lending is bad. It could be a good thing depending on your situation, but just be mindful about what you're signing on to, because technically those private lenders are not forgiving when it comes down to they'll swoop in and take your house in a flat, but the rates are a lot higher. So if you can't afford your home at the rate you're currently paying, you're probably not going to afford it at a higher rate. So I think there's a reality check to be had, and you really have to work out the math. See, a lot of people think that I'll just sell my home, but really just selling your home is not the answer, because technically there's fees, right? You have to pay fees. One other thing I want to talk about is the condo market. Yes, the condo market, the pre-construction market, like the pre-construction looks like it's at a complete standstill. However, I'm not quite sure if there's any way to rebound from it, because really the prices of pre-construction is so high. It's unbelievable. You can really walk through a home. You can buy a condo that's currently sitting on the market. You can walk through it. You can get the feel of it. You can measure it out, and you can decide if that works for you, if the layout works for you. And you can buy that, and you know exactly what price you're getting it at. You can close a couple of months later. You know exactly what the costs are going to be, as opposed to a pre-con that's going to come on the market. You're going to have to pay the HST on it. Of course, they're giving you a little bit of a break on that piece. But all of those things are really, really important, because this is where I see people struggling the most. It's the pre-con market, the pre-con condo market. I mean, I've never understood why people for the condo market don't actually just, buy something that is already on the market, that they already have the option to really see through it themselves and walk through it, take a look, understand what is in them. But somehow people walk into a sales center and they really buy into this whole thing. And let me tell you one thing, you buy a pre-con, even if you're planning to assign it, which is right now, it's not, the assignment market is dead. So even if you were thinking of assigning it, you're going to go nowhere with it. So you're going to have to close on it. But even if you got very lucky, let's just say, and by the time 3 years from now, the market picked up and you were like, oh, great, let's assign it. Everybody else is making money. So when they sell you pre-con, there's realtors involved. Realtors get commission. Both sides. There's the salesperson, whoever's working for the real estate office. And then you take a realtor in, they get commission. If you don't take a realtor in, you don't get a discounted amount. You still pay the same amount. And then when you want to assign it, you pay again. And then you pay commission again. And then it's constantly this, you're just kind of spinning your wheels. All I'm going to say to you is, if you walk through a resale condo that is in a favorable building, you know how the building is doing, you know the reputation of the building, you walk through that condo and you realize, hey, the layout is really good. Or, oh my God, look at the amount of corridor space. Like, a corridor is square footage, but what can you put in a corridor except walk through it, right? So you've got 100 square feet or 50 square feet of a corridor, which really, it could be a room. Like, people don't understand, layout is so important when it comes down to these things. But you can walk into a resale condo and really get a feel for it, really kind of understand price per square foot, really kind of know what you're getting. And you can also do the math to understand, if you were to rent it out, if your cash flow positive or negative, and what that number looks like and how long you're planning to hold it for, all of those scenarios. Now, the third thing I want to talk about today, which is the rental market. And the rental market has been, there are so many rentals on the market that most are remaining empty. But the other part too is the rents are, with all of the excessive immigration that has been sent back, like all the students, the whole 9 yards, rents have declined. And so a lot of people that have bought these additional properties just to, make rooming houses, I mean, yeah, their business is over. But rents are on the decline and there's a lot of competition. But then again, the world is so uncertain right now that there is a lot of, really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you plan to do. The numbers need to make sense for you. The timing needs to make sense for you. If you are planning to live somewhere, then clearly having your own space is, I would say, important. I hate, me personally, I would hate someone to be in charge of my, my home is my sanctuary. I would hate to be a renter and then my home be up for sale, or someone buys it and I have to move and then start all over again. Like, I couldn't do that. So like me, some people, they don't care. They just move from one place, they go to the next, the whole 9 yards. They're fine with it. So having said that, that's really what's going on right now in the real estate market. And if you have any questions, drop a comment below.